Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Darkest Dungeon. So, I exited it out and reloaded. We have this Gentle Tide event that we triggered on purpose so we could take on the next boss fight, even though we really don't have a lot of characters quite prepared for another boss fight, and we really don't have that much gold. But I think we can pull this off. So, this will mean we take on the Beguiling Siren, and we pretty much have everything set up as I would like it to be set up, I think. Now, there is a question certainly here. It looks like you might actually get more food depending on the difficulty of a run. There is a question here as far as when will I really hit the point where I'm fully satisfied that wow, you're starting with like 3 bandages. I want at least 1 key. Probably 2. Yeah, I guess the question is when will I hit the point where I'm fairly satisfied that in certain areas like the Cove, maybe I don't need anti-venom at all. Or maybe you don't need medicine. Torches, food, shovels, skeleton keys all make a lot of sense. Certainly. Even the laudanum, which still feels like it's not an object that really gets used, makes some sense.
Under the blood moon, I lured my wide-eyed
So this is
prey
the
to the
third
pier's edge.
of
Before she could
this
properly appreciate her position,
sub-boss.
I clamped on a manacle, chaining her to the leering idol. The small push was sufficient to send both into the icy waters. And when at length the tide receded, jewels of the most magnificent grandeur lay scattered upon the shore.
So he betrayed the siren or killed the siren and got rewarded by some evil force. And this would be the end of the siren tale, so this is probably
became of the unfortunate little waif.
This is probably going to become somewhat of a revelation, but not that much of a revelation. We are looking just for room battles, so obviously going to this battle, to this curio, to this treasure is not worth it.
A handsome reward.
I had to put our
well performed
level 6 character, or our abomination character, at the front. 100% on this to disarm. Now, here we've got a new version of this guy. So it does seem like there are 3rd tier versions of the characters. I guess the question is, can I kill that guy quickly?
No quarter.
Yes, and that also led to reducing stress on some characters that already had some stress. Some buff there. Mark target. Debuff to target with negative 25% dodge. Yeah. I'm not really playing a lot of strategy. So it does kind of make some sense to build up more debuffing as an element. 20 stress there. That's quite a lot. A crit for 20 health is also quite a lot. So we may quickly find that these final boss fights are in line with being potentially as difficult as I assume the Darkest Dungeon runs will be. I definitely have some concern here
A singular strike.
that I won't be able to actually ever win against these final tier bosses or the Darkest Dungeon. Or we may find out that after I've beaten all the bosses, there might have been room for a lot more of a upgrade. One of the things that can be really annoying is if we do the first battle around the Darkest Dungeon and win, and then all of a sudden the estate is way stronger and everybody's better as a character and everything just gets easier. That would really suck for it to be easy after we had done all the content. Now, I don't think we have a character that does anything, so I'm gonna go ahead and just turn back into human and heal myself, as dumb as that may be, because I'm fairly certain we'll get this killed.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Okay. So we know everything doesn't work here. Right. Next, scouting. No boss fight. Couple of curios. But if we're going to survive at all, we are going to definitely need to succeed. And I guess I could give this guy 4 foods right now.
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
Really? Oh, that's ridiculous, because I didn't... his health was way higher than that. Let's get close enough so we can disarm this. With our scouting, maybe we can find the boss fight and get lucky. It's a 50-50 shot, really. So your best bet is to go this way, then go to this room and see if this scouts to tell you if the boss fights are these over here. Otherwise, we know it's this way. The one with the most stress would be this character, so trying to use that character to disarm the trap kind of makes some sense, but kind of didn't, obviously. Okay. Have we tried torches? No. Have we tried laudanum? No. So you put a shovel on it to scrape off the barnacles, and you take the rewards. It's very possible the Siren fight is more of a strategy fight anyway, so we may not have as much that we really need to do. And at least this run is probably going to give us a decent amount of gold and other items. Let's see. waste a key on this just to know for certain that it doesn't do anything. Medicine will do something. Even if that was the right move, it didn't seem like it actually healed. It said it healed, but it didn't heal. Well, let's
another
shovel
mariner,
here.
another misfortune.
That's the last shovel. There's potentially a trap here. If we do end up on the siren, we won't have rested, we won't have buffed up or been ready for the siren fight. Which is, at this point, something I should have done anyways because I didn't have enough food. Finally, I'm starting to understand these systems well enough that the game actually starts to make some level of sense. Whereas up until this point, the game has definitely felt like it is really just screwing around with me more than anything with weird, overly complicated systems. Oh, he did heal when he transformed. Interesting. But yeah. I finally, probably 40 to 50 hours into this game, am starting to just now feel like I'm understanding the systems, since the game didn't really bother to explain any of it to even a certain extent. There's probably, I would have to just assume, a lot that I still don't really understand and I'm just not getting. There's probably a combination of characters that would make a much better team than just randomly assembling a group of people. I should have attacked this guy, actually. Can we kill anybody this turn, I guess is the question. So close, but not quite. I still really have not been able to wrap my head around any idea whatsoever around should we kill this guy and just be certain of it?
As the fiend falls, a faint
like
hope
crits
blossoms.
and speed and defense and how that all really calculates around. I probably would have to be somewhat closer to 100 hours into a game before I would even start to really think about whether speed is as important as I normally would assume speed is in a game. Speed seems to be a stat that everything else is balanced against in this game, because you have so many items that reduce speed in favor of other things. But noticeably, having a really high speed does not seem to change too much in this turn-based gameplay. I've never really seen a character take 2 turns in a row. And you would expect to see that. Probably should be attacking this guy. Or healing this character. By targeting the wrong people and leaving too many people alive and allowing them to take too many moves.
Injury and despondence set the stage for
Stress
heroism.
is possibly a little
cowardice.
high. Come on. We've tried so hard to kill this guy and failed so miserably. We should have probably been targeting this guy because he's adding stress. I'm just not really paying any attention to that at all.
Confidence
Finally.
surges as the enemy crumbles.
So he just said confidence surges, and yet that didn't directly relate to any kind of reward.
Continue the onslaught.
Of like reduced stress or anything like that.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
Right, paranoid now. Just heal yourself. Heal this character. See if we can do something. Damage mod 50, damage mod 10.
A decisive pummeling.
What we desperately need to get now is food. Two
These
food's
nightmarish
probably
creatures
not
can
enough.
be felled. They can be beaten.
Right. Shovel on this and hope we get some food. Nope, we just get some gold. We are really doomed at this point. Like, I need probably another piece of, 2 pieces of food so that I could camp, so that I would have any chance at all. Okay, so what this is going to boil down to is the boss is probably here, but we could go down that way. Let's just try camping.
Circle in the
2
dark.
food is the
battle may
minimum.
yet be won.
Okay. Let's see what we could possibly do. All companions heal 20%. All companions 20%. That may be literally all we can do. Let's see. One companion, 75% of 35% HP, remove bleeding. Otherwise we can try to remove 15% stress, 15% stress, 15 stress in general, which 15 stress is more than 15% stress, or add 10 dodge. You could kind of do both, unparalleled finesse and encourage. Okay. So let's get rid of 15 stress there. Actually, that was 17 stress, and then do that. So this wasn't even really a team that had a lot of camping abilities anyways. That was at least worth a
The
try.
darkness holds much worse than mere trickery and boogeymen.
Worst case scenario, I guess maybe you can't retreat from a ambush. Okay. This guy should die in one turn. Now we'll just focus on this guy. Transform. And add a bunch of stress back. And that was a large amount of damage. Ideally, I'm hoping we'll survive this ambush and have something turn around, but I suspect there is a decent argument that we will just have to abandon this fight. Which I think this really just goes to show that the level of preparedness you need may be very much built around just resources and the team you have and luckiness if you run into a boss fight. It took me two or three tries to defeat one boss, and I really only did defeat the Swine King because I got lucky. This guy's dodge is too high. Seriously. Yeah, I can't imagine my stress is going to be
even the boldest gaze.
Yeah, this stress is just too high. We gotta run after this.
Anger is power. Unleash it.
Okay. Seriously, just kill that guy already.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
This one's about to die of a heart attack.
A powerful blow.
Come on, this is getting ridiculously unfair. Finally.
Festering fear consumes the
80,
mind.
183 stress at death's door. And then now it's 179. So we lucked out there. This guy's at 170. Undoubtedly, this probably is a taste of what the darkest dungeon run will be, is that we will be dangerously close. Like, I can't imagine it would be anything different than that. This just incredibly close to having heart attacks and killing all of your team, even if all of your team is level 6. Abandon that quest.
Regroup. Reassemble. Evil is timeless, after all.
Now, if the game had told me that run actually was very productive because it allowed me to kill some enemies, and now next time I do that run it will be easier, that would be great. but it's not saying that, and I don't really think that's the case. It would have been nice to win there.
Curiosity, interest, and obsession.
The Thief in the Night.
On my road to damnation.
In the end, however, the damnable thing managed to get away with its prize. The Hamlet's coffers are poor for having hosted the unwanted guest. The Shrieker has stolen 8 of my trinkets. That is a ridiculously large amount of trinkets. Although, noticeably, I had so many trinkets anyways, it's easy to potentially not notice. Alright. Can we decrease the brothel cost? No. Noticeably, I don't think I can do anything. I think I'm just gonna have to wait a couple of weeks and try and get some gold. Level 3 Hellion. Do we really need a level 3 Hellion? No, we've already got 2 level 3 Hellions already. We still need armor smithing upgraded. Do we have anything close to that? No. Why would we? We didn't succeed. So I think that pretty much means we can't do anything. Right. That went poorly, to say the least. Defeat the Shrieker at level 5 to get 8 of your lost trinkets back. We've just got to take that on. And that very possibly means this. This guy's in the right position and he's got a good attack. This character's in the wrong position. This character would have to be over here. This character's so 2 shooters, or can we take a level 5 maybe? That doesn't sound awful as an idea. And if you don't do this fight right now, I'm not sure you would ever get your items back. So you have to take this on. And food and bandages and just save all your money, I guess, is the right move. Like, the only thing you could do is really buy holy water and bandages and try and change your stats in the fight, because this is just going to be an immediate fight. We don't have an abomination, so we don't have anything around that. That was a massive amount of damage. It has 150 health. We'll probably want to see, mark. Maybe that's the right move, maybe that was the wrong move. If we can get a little bit of debuff on this guy, it's probably a smart move. The Shrieker doesn't seem like it has that much attack. But it may have just like a really high dodge. And that was a massive amount of damage. Should we try to attack the nest? Alright, we've tried that 3 times. That's failed 3 times. Obviously that's not going to work. Resist, everything. Okay. And it has like 3 actions. Okay, well. So our hope here is to not die and to just do a massive amount of damage and make contact.
As life
That one's at death's door.
terrible vistas of emptiness
So
reveal
heal yourself.
themselves.
Part of the problem here, I would say, is
From becoming unwound.
particularly for the Shrieker, you're just not going to be able to engage with the Shrieker multiple times in a row. So even if you did figure out that it has a resistance or a dodge, which maybe that is fairly obvious there when you look at its resistances at the bottom there, and I guess the skills may even tell you something. It has a dodge of 63.
Reeling, about to break.
Massive amounts of negative things. Although
Many fall in
looks
the
like the
face of
Shrieker's
chaos, but not this one.
flown.
Not today.
Flown the coop, so we either... What happens if we continue the adventure? Nothing. Okay. That gets us 70 gold of the stuff we started with for free and all of our items back. Which, yeah. That was necessary. 20% healing when camping. Yeah. It probably would have been nice
The terrible wonders I
if
have come
there
to
had
know.
been more of that. Like more events like that that were quicker. Kind of easy weeks. Highwayman level 3. Let's sort by class. But we're already sorting by class. So we have a highwayman level 6. Yeah, we don't have anything else, so leper. Where's our leper character? And give him this item. He may very well have stolen the items from the character, so there may be characters that are no longer wearing them, or no longer equipped, and that would change things. I have so many characters now, it would be fairly unbelievable to say we don't have a leper, but I don't think we have a leper. We must have just lost it in some battle at some point. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. And we don't have gold, so looking at the store doesn't really matter. We really can't do anything else. The ideal move now would be to take on the farmstead, but if I was going to do that, that would really be this guy, and then this guy, and then kind of nobody else. We need to find instead, skip the farmstead weekly event, and just find a good team amongst these level 3s and an easy experience. Something that probably doesn't have to be a level 3. This guy has 15 XP. This character has 13 XP. So we do that. And then that. That. We definitely need a Hound Master. Leveled up. And we do that. That would be my ideal setup. This experiment of extra damage we'll stick with. And almost certainly there are some characters here that have some skills that are either unlocked or not at the maximum. Okay. "100% of the room battles doesn't make sense. 90% at level veteran 3 does make sense. The only other thought would be to do a level 5 with a group of level 3s, which is not logical, or to do this, which would just give us another sun ring, which I'd rather have a brawler's glove than another sun ring, even though there is a potential here that we should just collect a bunch of sun rings. Well, actually, I guess that does make a lot of sense. We should just have like 4 sun rings. I think that's what we're going to use unless we see something better. So let's just do this run. So this is a medium. We didn't prepare enough before. So start with our basic loadout and then start to try to have something there and there, and then embark. What
Prosecute our war against the
seems
swine,
like it's
we
gonna
must
suck
first
here,
scout their squalid homes.
though, is that doing these kinds of runs may become incredibly repetitive and necessary. Alright, we could go this way, and this way. Either... Well, we do need to scout 90% of the room, so we need to go this way.
A fortune waiting to be spent.
Who's got the most trap disarm? 70, 70, 90, and 70.
Carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
Yeah. We still need to do the special events of the nightmares happening between the shield breaker, so doing these runs makes some sense around that idea. Let's see. I'm fairly certain at this point that burning the books always is a negative thing. Or maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe burning the books is the right move. And really, at this point, it would be nice if I had taken some notes, because that's what this would boil down to. Is that I need to have just a strategy guide in front of my face.
Obliterated.
But yeah, if we get the level up to the point where there's level 4 characters and we just have a whole background collection of level 4 characters as backup characters in our roster, but then that is the maximum. If we're still struggling, if we're losing all our top tier level 6 characters, the game cannot help you any further past that point, or will not help you any further past that point. And that is a dangerous scenario, certainly, that we would lose all of our level 6 characters, we'd have a bunch of level 4 characters, and then we would just have to go through what I would estimate might be 8 extra runs. Let's see. Yeah. I do not really trust the idea of having to go through 8 runs just to bring another team back up to level 6 to potentially take on the Darkest Dungeon again. Okay. These guys are hitting hard enough that I don't feel particularly concerned.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them.
A lot of these runs are also going to make themselves fairly obvious as far as just if you're struggling with the first fight, or if you're getting a massive amount of damage in a fight, then you've entered a area that is too difficult, and you should probably run at that point and not even try. And that's going to be only the minimalist amount of time saving, really, if you are running from events. Noticeably, there isn't an event that is just you automatically win and you get a major amount of resolve or XP, and there isn't an event that seems like it's particularly impossible. I assume the Darkest Dungeon itself is the impossible event. Of course, that is making that same assumption and just really sticking to that assumption. Like,
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
we will hit a point quicker than I think.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Let's just use this. Okay. Have we tried dog biscuits on this? Nothing happens. Nothing happens at all. I do appreciate that we are now getting more food, or food to start off with, and that the food is not is healing us faster. But I do have to say, food hasn't become a saving grace of any real sense. All the interfaces and systems as far as hunger and light are really more punishments if you don't play along with the systems than they are rewards for understanding the systems and manipulating them to your advantage.
Watch your step.
Like, there's definitely a different way in which this could have gone about it with the light system, in the sense. And there's 2 obstacles. That's gonna suck. If the
Such blockages are unsurprising. These tunnels predate
game
even the
really
earliest
only
settlers.
required you to be at level 50 of the light level, and then anything above that would burn out quickly and it would get dimmer quicker, which it doesn't really feel like it works that way. That would save you on a lot of torches, and that would potentially be a case where you start at a radiant level 50, and then only players that have a lot of gold or know the proper times to increase the light level would actually do it. You keep running into compulsive people. Right. And again, I'll just check this to make sure this guy has the most disarm ability. If the game gave us more shovels, that'd probably be nice too. But yeah, we don't get shovels. So we had to search all the rooms here, so we're not just going in circles for no reason. If anything, the fact that it was a circle is a good thing, because that meant there was a shortcut to get back to the middle.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
We still really haven't seen anything that indicates we'd ever be able to stack twice as much items. Which that would solve so many problems if we could do that.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Since this is a search the rooms mission, I should also
Well struck.
use the firewood fairly quickly to get any kind of bonuses. Like, you could put off the nightmare till the very end, but I don't think there's a need to do that. Hopefully that guy will die of blight, and maybe even that guy will die of blight.
The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
Yeah, I don't see any way I would really die here.
Eradicated. As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Move to this next room, and then that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms. If we skip this room, we can go to these 3 rooms in a row, and we probably won't have 4 fights. Okay. Who's got the most negative things that we'd want to get rid of? Ooh, massive amounts of stress. It seems like it is really a way too high gamble to burn the books. So I think going forward I will just never do that. Like, there might actually be some positive reward that you occasionally get, and it might be some hugely useful quirk, but the risk is just too high against the opposite. And frankly, if we've done something 3 times and not been rewarded even once, the odds of it giving a different outcome at all is fairly low.
Decimated.
See, this character's stress being this high now is a major problem. We may have to spend the entire camping
champion falls.
just trying to reduce the stress. Okay. Camp.
Circle in the dark.
Take a bunch of
The battle
food.
may yet be won.
Reduce a bunch of stress. Let's see, all companions minus 10 stress, 10% stress. That is a good character potentially to have for Darkest Dungeon runs. 15% stress. Minus 15 stress. 15% protection, 15% max HP, armor piercing. Well, nobody else really needs to be healed. 25% damage if in position 1, they aren't. 15% stress on this character may be the only thing we really can do. 20% chance of the party being surprised, prevent nighttime ambushes. Would that also do something as far as the nightmare? We want to do the nightmares. So, you know what, just reduce that stress. And then reduce that stress. So, minus 40% stress. And we rest. That is more than likely the best we could have done.
As the light
The snakes are everywhere.
Spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear. Horrifying memory, brought back into the spotlight by a tortured mind.
Do the serpent sway. Heal 3 HP. Buff self 25% damage. We can't really attack even if we have faster speed just because of all of these characters being in stealth. I don't know if there really is a character at all that has a way of getting past stealth attacks by default. There might be a move that will remove stealth from a character. And stealth does not happen quite enough for it to be a main gameplay mechanic. It almost does. We are seeing about one character in stealth each turn. But that is kind of it. So
Sedated.
they're not really hurting me, and I'm not really hurting them. Finally, for 2 turns. And there's no light level, and there's no turn system around this fight, which if anything, this probably highlights how the light level is a pointless mechanic. It's just not really necessary. One down.
Give them no quarter.
Two down. Light the serpents, which you'd think they might be immune to that. I've done everything in my hope to try and reduce the stress on this character, and it's still about to hit 100. But is that really that big of a deal when we kind of know that we only have to search rooms, we don't have to actually fight people? Although you can't flee a room and then avoid the fight.
By inches. A brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
All of these stories that we get as far as a beautiful thing seem to be like love letters. So the snake's idea may be a nightmare hiding something way worse happened, or something that the character just doesn't want to admit happened. There we go. So I'm trying to see if we have any characters. We could give food to this guy and that's about it. But we definitely want to take all this. 35% damage versus marked, but then 10% damage overall. It's not really an item worth keeping, but whatever. We'll get rid of the gold. We'll get rid of the laudanum. And then anti-venom or medicine. Get rid of the medicine. Right. The hope now is to just make it to the end of this area. Not run into a bunch of fights, a bunch of traps. Probably trying to avoid any secret attacks. I'm not sure which one of these we should attack first. It's two rather large characters. This guy, I suppose, is more of a stress inducer, so we probably should attack this guy first. Let's see, 7 damage there and 15 stress. And just a total miss on that one, it seems.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic
One
merit,
down.
unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
They say that line quite a bit. Like, the bigger they are, the higher the chance of it doesn't really matter if they're big or small, but it's fairly obvious it does matter. They have more HP, they deal more damage the bigger the character is. There is a logical visual language that is being used.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
And then, yeah, saying the bigger the beast, the greater the glory is also kind of contradictory. 8 dodge, 1 speed. These items sell for more.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
750 times 2 is 1,500 versus this, which is only 1,000. So take that, and then we'll leave the gold. And I guess eventually we will just stop collecting these resources, and then that would make our inventory problems go away.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
So we're almost out of torches. We've got a couple extra pieces of food more than we would expect. Stress is something we're keeping an eye on. But then he left the blight will kill that.
Gently.
That just leaves this guy.
Life is taken.
Heal, I guess. Still makes some sense. At a certain level, just healing like this first character to potentially have them lose some stress makes a lot of sense too. Just because I think there is a small chance of that happening.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Leave that. Continue adventuring. We will. Let's see. Put a key in here.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Actually, I could have taken the gold, because even 50 gold is worth more than 5 torches. Yeah. Is it worth it to go further? Sure, why not? We know there's a trap here. We know there's a curio here. Aegis scales. I wouldn't want to use. Burning the scroll. It's probably... Yeah, let's see what this does. Claustrophobia quirk.
The twisting tunnels seem a little less impossible.
So a success on a lower level run maybe didn't get us a massive amount of upgrade materials, but did get us a massive amount of gold. And that's what you need for the resources. Plus we just need these characters to level up. And honestly, the experience of leveling up from potentially even level 4 to level 6 is what's going to give you the options to have enough events to get enough positive quirks to lock in positive quirks.
Can you feel it? The walls between the sane world and that unplumbed dimension of delirium are tenuously thin here.
So we have a little bit of gold now. Are we anywhere close to being able to upgrade this? No. There is an argument to potentially upgrading this. Level 3 Crusader. It'll be a while before we could upgrade that. Increasing stress recovery on those two might make some sense. Inherently, though, we are still kind of trapped. We want a character here that has good positive effects and would be out of negative effects. And spending 6,000 to even lock that in is not really doable. I do want to also kind of look at our items. It doesn't seem like we have any duplicates. We've gotten a couple of other items. If the Shrieker can come and steal items from us, that does imply that we should what am I trying to say here? We should probably sell all of our items if that is the case. Well, before we did that, could we have reduced the training regime? And yes, we could have. We should have done that. That was dumb. But I guess inherently that is what I do all the time, is I do dumb actions. Can't quite upgrade this. Yeah, I guess the goal would be just to get everybody trained that's at level 6 and then start to think about something else. Now I don't have enough for resources, so let's go ahead and just immediately sort these and then immediately start to think about selling probably commons. 10% virtue chance, sell that. 30% bleed, sell that. 14% disease resist, sell that. 15% stun chance, 13% crit, sell that one too. Sell that. So the only thing I'm going to keep as a common is just a +1 speed. That should give me enough resources to start to think about what we're going to do. Which, that is definitely the question, as far as what are we going to do next. Alright. We could try the Caregivers Convention with characters that are too high. We could try the Siren with characters that are the right height. 10% accuracy, 10% protect. We could go for a long run. We've never done a long run before. But I don't really have a real reason. Seems like this Ancestor's signet ring is ancestral level, which means there's a whole other tier above very rare that we didn't even know about. Interesting. I think we take on the Necromancer Lord. We try that. Which, if I am going to take on the Necromancer Lord, I'm going to have to take out that guy. So we do that one. This guy, I think, is in the right position. Who has the higher max HP? This one with 30 or this one with 34? Swap these around. Okay. Everybody has a level 5 attack, except for this guy. So let's go back and try to adjust that. And I'm probably joking myself here that this will work. This probably is a total mistake. But I'll give it a chance. Alright, so now we're back to just selling things. +2 speed, -1 speed. Oh well, then by all means take the plus speed. Move resistance plus 20% protection. If we know there's a whole nother tier, getting rid of uncommon items is not really a big deal either. Let's see. Okay. That guy. And then one attack with that guy. There's definitely room for upgrading more things, but I don't really enjoy the idea of selling even more trinkets. Even though that does seem like the real value. Champion level 5. Medium run. Well, the guy says he doesn't think he'll last. I don't see a real reason why, though. Let's see. At least 2 keys. At least 1 shovel. Let's take 2 shovels, 2 keys, and embark on a very compromised run.
My colleagues back with much of their intellect intact.
Unless this necromancer is really a pushover,
experienced necromancer,
I'm probably not going to succeed here.
freed from the trappings of their humanity.
And I feel like at this point we've probably defeated at least one of these 3 different versions of sub-bosses groups. And it didn't seem like it did anything. But since each location seems to have 2 groups of 3 levels of the bosses, of the sub-bosses, you won't actually clear out an entire level until you've killed 6 people. Okay. Nothing interacts with this. Let's go with this guy.
Finding the stuff is
Like
only the
a
first
bunch
test.
of rewards.
Now it must be carried home.
Didn't see that trap.
Mind that such missteps are the exception and not the rule.
Okay. So here's the test that we need to figure out is, are we going to be able to take out these guys easily, or is this going to work very poorly? Even if we are reselling the trinkets, we're getting gold that's being put into characters' levels. Although the upgrades, and starting with a level 4 character that potentially is going to have all of the skills unlocked to level 5 and all of the weapon and armor unlocked to level 5, is way cheaper. I guess the big question to ask here is, could we pass a week? There is a level certainly in which you could do this. We could enter a run and then immediately abandon the run and take a bunch of stress. We could just have a team of level 0 characters designed to pass weeks until enough people in the caravan at level 4 started showing up. That wouldn't be particularly fun if you needed to play that way. That feels like something a speedrunner might do, and is kind of a great example of how speedrunning often breaks any entertainment value in playing the game.
Destroy them all.
We need to heal this character. Try our very best to heal this character as much as possible.
Destroyed.
This guy also has
Seize
way
this
too much
momentum.
stress.
Push on to the task's end.
Well, the good news here is that since my inventory is full because of this boss fight, I wouldn't feel upset abandoning this very quickly. What else can we get rid of? Just like one torch. We need some scouting.
If only treasure could staunch
This
the flow
antiquarian
of otherworldly corruption.
as a character is causing us to get too much resources. And I guess that highlights where the antiquarian as a character is just not the one you want to use in any kind of boss fight. I pushed him over the edge.
Finally claim their due.
See if maybe we can take out a gargoyle in one turn. This guy's bleeding. heal this guy.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden. As the fiend falls,
One
a
down.
faint hope blossoms.
Mark target, 10% protection, self 3% speed. Might be a value in that.
The horror.
Do I want to heal this guy more, or do I want to try and kill this character? I think trying to kill this character is your better move. The fact that you can run into characters that are just this defensive is really a problem. Or it's not even defensive as much as they just have too much health compared to the way the game is balanced out compared to all the other characters. We haven't seen the collector in a long time, so either
Press this advantage.
you only see the
Give them no
collector
quarter.
as long as you keep fighting defeating the collector, or there's something else that triggers him to appear. Heal. That. Heal. That. Stress is even a problem here.
A victory. Perhaps a turning point.
Alright. We need to hold on to food.
The match is struck. A
This is
blazing
worth
star is
375.
born.
This is worth 1200. So obviously you take that. Then take that. Yeah, I think I can only really get into the next room. Hope that there's not a fight, but there was. And then camp. Hopefully I don't push this guy too close to having a heart
A
attack.
brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
Knock people out of order. Let's just really make sure that guy's
Confidence
dead.
surges as the enemy crumbles.
The blight may have taken him, but I didn't want to risk it. You would think these occultist characters played a bigger role, but I guess not. They are just another excuse for a different type of human. Otherwise, you would have seen a lot of highwaymen or just human enemies that have no business being in these dungeons compared to with all these other monsters. And almost certainly there is a DLC you could turn off that would make the occultists not appear, and if they stopped appearing, then maybe the game would be more difficult or easier. I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually more difficult, because of the variety of characters
Their
out there,
formation is
the
broken.
occultists really aren't that
Maintain
bad.
the offensive.
You'd think they would be summoning something else. Something big and dangerous. fairly frequently. Everybody's stress is way too high. So the hope here is to win here and then rest and then at the campfire hope for a different outcome. I wouldn't be surprised if nothing changes though. And we do just have to flee with all of our gold.
Great is the weapon that cuts
wouldn't be
on
a big
its own.
problem.
Success so clearly in view.
Plus
Or
10
is it merely a
dodge.
trick of the light?
Okay. So the way this is going to go is we're going to trigger this
A spark without kindling.
and then use 8
It's
of
a
this.
goal without hope.
Definitely take this. And just take the rest of the items. 1500 gold very possibly is worth more than this item, but whatever. We'll take it anyways. And we'll leave the rest. So, unless this guy can remove a bunch of stress on himself, we could reduce a whole bunch of stress. All companions plus 2 speed, 1 companion less percentage stress, quickening 4 speed. 20 stress on our character and then 10 stress on 3 other characters. It's not terrible. Pep talk on this character. Encourage on this character. Healing, I don't think is even going to come into it. Plus 2 speed on everybody. So we can heal, or we can produce an item. We could reduce, just add a whole bunch of resists. Or we could reduce more stress. Monsters being suppressed. Surprised. Okay. I have like 3 shovels here. I should have sold the 3 shovels at some point.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted and purpose is made clear.
Shovel does nothing. Alright. So get rid of the shovels, take the gold. We have all these benefits and probably no chance at all of succeeding. So take the gold, read the book. Interesting. So this tells me There's curios, curios, curios. So we just know that there's curios everywhere. That's different. We've never seen this guy before. Alright. I think these characters are out of order too. Any stress reduction we probably did there gets just undone in that using the abomination. This is kind of the exact example of where you wouldn't want to learn something new, is when you're struggling to not die. This is bad. See, why is this guy's attack not gonna work? Because he's in the wrong spot. Yeah, I think at this point we say no. Let's just retreat from combat.
Cannons.
Room with a battle treasure. You know, we didn't get anywhere close to this. Let's just leave.
Failure tests the mettle of heart, brain, and body.
We got a lot of upgrade material because we took the antiquarian with us. We got a lot of gold. We didn't end up with 15,000 gold, but this probably gives us a nice ratio of what the antiquarian does for you, as far as just how much collected treasure you'll end up with compared to a run that would give you 15,000 gold. Although I do kind of question if it would be that easy or that much easy to end up with more expensive antiques, because you only have a certain amount of room. Like, certainly I guess these minor antiques could have been rubies instead, or they could have been rare antiques. Nervous, clumsy, healer's gift. It was worth a try.
Perhaps things are not as bad as they seem.
All idle heroes 200% stress heal received. 1 good work week. But I assume that means that the idle heroes got 200% at random stress relieved, not that they have that if I leave them for this next run they'll get that. Level 3 bounty hunter. Let's see, we've already got a level 3 bounty hunter. Can we upgrade anything here? We don't have enough crests, otherwise we could upgrade the training regimen. And we still don't have enough crests or deeds to upgrade the armor smithing. So we just need to do some runs to build up our resources more as best as we can. It's so crazy we didn't get a reward for upgrading this to 100%. We aren't anywhere closer, really, to building any of these buildings, which torchlight being more beneficial, I think, is one you definitely would want. Idle stress relief is also arguably one you want, but you're going to have to pick and choose. You're not going to get both anytime soon. And inherently, I'm going to just have to take this team of 4 and leave everybody else. I can't really afford to let any of these characters go to the Abbey. It's just all too expensive. Reduce disease treatment costs. Yes, that would be nice. Should we do that? I mean,
Experimental
probably, yeah.
techniques and tonics can overcome things a sharpened sword cannot.
Just start the process of disease treatment, since we've got a lot of characters with diseases anyways, and removing disease is the only thing that is cheap. I guess maybe if we could just reduce the cost of the penance hall a little bit more, that might be useful. Or reduce the cost of the brothel. Although reducing the cost isn't really the thing to do. Or it isn't the thing we can do. There is also an increasing argument to improving these survivalist skills. Inevitably, though, I guess this curved white means reduced stress, or stress in some way. We could try for the caregivers convention with the 4s, but we probably would fail. Let's see. Plague Doctor and Occultist doesn't make sense. Looks like we still are going to have to try the Jester. So this would be, I guess, the team you would build, since everybody else's stress is so high. You could take this character with you instead. So doing the caregivers convention with that doesn't make sense. Silence in the crypts does maybe make some sense if we pulled that off. But it probably would just be smarter to do an apprentice level 1 and level up this character here. Or do this one. Bumper crop doesn't make a lot of sense either. It definitely feels like we are just at diminished possibilities. That there really aren't a lot of choices. And I guess if you scroll here, there's room for 26 characters right now. Upgrading this would take it to 31. So how many characters are stressed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 out of a potential 21 characters have their stress way too high. 10, maybe even 11. This really seems like it's just proving that we're going to have to continue to grow and lean on our 4s and 3 characters before we can finish everything up with the estate. And the game has really done nothing to inspire any confidence
In time,
at
you
all
will
that I
know
could
the tragic extent of my failings.
that I could actually take on even the first tier of the Darkest Dungeon. At some point, maybe I'm thinking of this wrong, we have defeated the first tier of almost every boss, sub-boss. So maybe we could do our first run on the Darkest Dungeon. Or we would just lose that whole team. I think that's what we're going to have to start to think about doing, though, is that we're going to have to think about taking on the Darkest Dungeon. Because these top tier characters, like the Necromancer Lord, just seem so difficult. Yeah. Perhaps it is a case that the Darkest Dungeon itself is making all the other areas more dangerous. But who knows? It would make more sense that it was the other way around, that the other areas were making the Darkest Dungeon area more dangerous, if anything. Well, I definitely don't want to do another run, so that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.